Hello. It's Prince Easy, and let's get to it. So, if you look back in the scripture, in the past, in the Old Testament, even in the New Testament, there seems to be a habit of people bending somehow the will of God to fit their cultures, traditions, and that does not work. Okay, it used to work like that. That's what first we need to recognize. When our forefathers were serving gods, okay, with a small g, these quote unquote gods did what we wanted, and that made us drunk with power, right? We see even today these sorcerers and wizards, yeah, they are addicted to power because these gods enable them to do what they want. But with the one true God, it is a whole different story. He knows the past, the future, the present. So you can't really demand anything outside his plan. You just need to submit to that will. That's all you need to do, to submit to the will. Stop reasoning, stop thinking about it, just like a little child. Yeah? Their parents might literally feed them poison. They are not going to question, they're going to eat it. That was the test. Eh? That was that many uh, spiritual icons in the scripture we see, right? One of them was given diseases, his family was dismantled, yes. One of them was told to offer their sons. He saw the similarities between, he questioned himself, he questioned himself. He said like, wow, I thought you are the true gods, but now you're telling me to go and sacrifice my own child. But he had faith. That's a hard thing. It's not an easy thing as people think. It's not an easy thing. You gotta have faith. Okay, you can't understand and know who I am, for instance, without having faith. You cannot. If you reason, you will not reach a conclusion, because reason only serves to I don't know, reconcile your notions. That's what they do. So I hope you understand what I'm saying, because this issue is why the scripture even called Israel sometimes. Israel had strong necks. Israel was always backsliding. Okay, hearts of stone, even, right? What does these terms mean? Backsliding, sliding back to what? Strong necks, not turning away from what? Hearts of stone. Why? It's because of the influence of the gods. Okay, so right now it's no surprise that when issues start to pile up on people, they run to witches, yeah, because those gods do what they want at the time they want, yeah, and how they want it, right? But there is a price to pay, and some of them think, you know what, maybe I'm ready to pay that price. That's the issue, you know. So we need to think about that, and for the sake of our supposed cultures and traditions, I hope that our faith becomes the core, becomes the yoke that ties everything. Okay, because we see our sciences are running rampant with lies and misinformation and stuff like that. and this leads to trouble. So we need to go back to that faith. Yeah. So even now I say like, yo, I'm the prince. I'm what Israel has been waiting for, but it's a hard thing to believe that one, you know. It's a hard one thing to believe, but trust me. Without faith, you can't have anything. Yeah, you can't have everything. Even myself, I had to begin with faith a long time ago, before I knew what I knew, before I was even exposed to what I was and I am being exposed to. It's all about faith. Yeah. So I need just sit on that, think about it, digest it. Right. Let's move on. So we talked about umbrellas, more umbrellas, and doors, and of course, Apollo has to remain relevant for their sake. They have to make them popular. It's their champion. It's their champion. The champion of the synagogue of Satan. Right? More blasphemy. So what? You didn't create this material out of nature? So what? You created this? This is the pride. This is the pride when people lack faith. They take up that position. They regard themselves as God, and that's the issue right there. They regard themselves as God, so they think they can create something out of nothing. More of that same rhetoric that we've been talking about. In the beginning, it said, man shall look upon the woman, and the woman shall look upon the man. That's just the reality. And now here they're programming people. As usual, they're experimenting on these people because there is a future that is very grim, and they're actually preparing for. They think that they can, ride out and first control demolition in the apocalypse, and then ride out the judgment, Armageddon rather. Nah, that's not gonna happen. You're done. You just don't know it yet. He used his own evolutionary treatment. Who wants to guess that it is somehow some RNA umbrella? I guarantee you. Yeah, he doesn't have the money. But with CRISPR, you can buy the CRISPR packages. It's cheaper to synthesize death materials. They gotta bring in another one because that pig organ guy died. It's breaking apart everywhere. But it's gonna break again. It's the same thing. The system is breaking from the top down. The war has begun, I guess. They say a man did this, a single man did this. Why? So a Christian. Yeah. It's about to get worse. Regardless, even if it's a psyop. It's definitely a psyop. It's definitely a psyop. But it wouldn't matter because there are already things ready in place to cause the hatred between these two peoples. We're gonna come back to that. Now, more psychological operations against Zion. So we see Black Socks, Black Nini, Black Operation Black, Barack UK. All of these are Negroes living in Babylon, thinking that they can change the system by activism and marching and writing letters. So the whole staging of this letter here is in Kenya, like I said. Now you need to watch yourself. Maybe it wasn't done in Kenya, but it doesn't matter. It is written there. People are going to consume what they consume, you know. And this coalition of lawyers apparently could not even get the name of the president right. And they did this on purpose. They did this on purpose because I know spells. So they say International Coalition of Jurists, Academics, and parliamentaries call upon President Suluhu Hassan to cease the ethnic cleansing of the Maasai communities. They call it ethnic cleansing. Are you serious, bro? From a lawyer's stance, this letter is not addressed to the president of Tanzania. And they have this long letter basically full of nonsense. Watch out. This is the Baphomet. This is the devil. Where's the woman? They're out here giving opportunities to these Ukrainians, but not Palestinians. I wonder why. The system is built upon race, but it's much deeper than that. It's much deeper than that. All of this race and religious tension is only there to insulate the real problem, and that is the Nephilim. That's what they're doing, and that's what they've always done. As long as we fight each other, we will never see the reason why things are happening. So they are doing this to incite. So one can say, look, all of these protests, they are justified. Look at their biases, They are giving shelter to you, we have even government officials coming out in public and say, if you can take refugees from Ukraine, then you can house them, we can give you money. They got them hotels and all of these things, but when it comes to the Palestinians, now we shouldn't be suspicious of that situation. We shouldn't be suspicious and question your motives. People need to think now. Something is afoot. Okay? And at the center of that foot is that Middle Eastern synagogue of Satan right there. No lie. Now let's come back to this. This is another talk from the synagogue of Satan. Okay, at one point, the church fell victims to the cultures and traditions of the Romans. Right? So we adapted heliocentrism from them. Okay, and it got approval. by the Pope. Okay, because people knew back then. Yeah? We knew that there's a firmament, the earth is not moving, the sky is moving, the stars within it is moving. That's it, right? And then these new quote-unquote discoveries came. They are not actually new. They're not actually new. Okay? Roman philosophers, yeah? Coming back to those sciences, yeah? Roman philosophers are the first people to bring up this heliocentric view of our world. Okay, so imagine this psychological operation began during the times of the Romans. And then the Romans, quote unquote, adapted Christianity, and they fused Christianity with their pagan beliefs. So they can come out later on, after endorsing the ideology that we live in a speeding ball doing 1,000 miles per hour, that we can go to the moon. This is not a simple thing, people. If you do not get this, then we are done. I'm done with you, generally. I'm done. Because the truth is right there. They keep lying, they keep saying things, suspicious things. Talking about how we baptize aliens. Like, what? We have the record of creation. Literally. We have the record of creation. And creation in the Genesis does not point to a species in some other planet, or even the possibility of something called a planet. But people keep worshiping, they keep worshiping this heliocentric. It's right there in the words, heliocentric. Who is Helios? It's a god. Where we get the word helium. Space balloons, literally. The biggest consumer of helium is NASA. So there are no satellites, they're just balloons hanging up in the sky. Heavenly bodies, satellites. Yeah? They're not space bodies. Now I hear people talking like, we need to go to the moon. Like, are you serious? Now, if you speak like the enemy, you spread what the enemy, the falsehood of the enemies, I don't care if you do not know, you are an enemy. Plain and simple. Like I've said, there's no neutral ground in this war. There's just truth and lie. There's no undecided or deciding. There's no such thing. You're either certain or you have faith. Either way, you have to choose. And fight for your side. Plain and simple. Right? So he's trying to do damage control, as per usual. And some Christians are like sitting there comfortably and saying like, this Pope will pass, maybe we'll receive a righteous Pope in the near future. Maybe it has happened before in the past, we have been with many popes that were problematic and this and that, but nah. The scripture goes against your notions. The scripture says these times have never happened before. The situation now is much worse than ever since the creation of the earth. So that needs to sink in your mind. You need to digest that scripture right there. If you take anything and everything as a joke, you'll be surprised. You'll lose your soul. You lose your soul. This is not a joke. Oh, what does believing on a flat plane or a spinning ball has to do with my faith? Wait till them aliens come, then we're gonna have that discussion. Wait, because those quote unquote UFOs, they are here for years, since the 50s. Okay, you remember that video we did about cattle mutilations all over Europe and America, right? Having precision cuts in the face, in the stomach, draining blood. Eh? Now that thing used to happen to people back then. It used to happen to people. They found these bodies that were missing blood. Precision cuts. There's no evidence of this thing being done by a person. Now, for a person who believes that this space and stuff like that, you say, these beings are learning. But for me, I have a whole other perception on them. They don't even learn nothing about people. They have seen people for thousands of years. They're Nephilim. They have seen kingdoms rise and fall so many times. They don't need to learn nothing new. There's nothing new. But they have a purpose. They have a mission. They have leadership. Okay? These presidents, they're not enough. Because every president serves their country. I'm trying to put you all together now. You have to lose your power to get your power. That's what I say. If you listen to what I say, you rise up. But you need to fall fast. And some of you do not want to fall, and that's the problem, because your ego is on the way. God is going to deal with you, not me. God is going to bring you down. God is going to bring you down. And you'll worship in thy feet. That's what is written. Now come over there and launch campaigns and PA systems making noise. Nah. I just give a statement and I just leave. Why is it happening? Because God willed it to be so. He chose me to be the prince. Full stop. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Trust me. Nothing. I'm just a prince. That's it. Keep quiet and listen. But if you continue to listen to these cowards here, who have lied to you about the real Israel, who have taken your faith and run it in the mud and made a mockery out of it, you keep on listening to these people and see where this thing is going to lead you. That's all I had to say today. It's my birthday, 18 May, turning 30. Crazy, right? Prince Easy, signing out. Bye. Love you.